Imagine being just a teenager, barely old enough to drive, still in school, still figuring out who you are. Now imagine being accused of a crime so brutal, so horrifying, that the whole city turns against you. Imagine being told you confessed to something you didn't do. Imagine losing your freedom before you even had a chance to live. This is the story of the Central Park Five, later known to the world as the Exonerated Five. 5 boys who were wrongfully convicted of a crime that shocked New York City, and whose story became a symbol of injustice, race, and redemption. It was the night of April 19, 1989. Spring in New York City. Central Park, the jewel of Manhattan, filled with its winding paths, tall trees, and open spaces. But that night, everything changed. A 28-year-old woman named Tricia Mailey, an investment banker, went for her evening jog through the park. Hours later, she was found brutally beaten, raped, and left for dead in a ravine. She was in a coma. Doctors weren't sure she would survive. The crime was horrific. The city was outraged. And the police were desperate to find someone to blame. That same night, a group of teenagers, mostly black and Latino, had entered the park. They were hanging out, playing, running around. Some caused minor trouble, harassing bikers and pedestrians. It was teenage mischief that spiraled into chaos. Among them were 5 boys. Antron McCrae, 15. Kevin Richardson, 14. Yusef Salaam, 15. Raymond Santana, 14. Corey Wise, 16. They had never met Tricia Mailey. They had nothing to do with the assault. But within hours, their lives would be destroyed. The NYPD swept into action. They arrested dozens of boys who had been in the park that night. But soon, they zeroed in on those 5. The boys were taken to the precinct, separated from their parents, isolated in interrogation rooms for hours. Detectives questioned them relentlessly. They yelled. They lied. They promised freedom if the boys just said the words they wanted to hear. And slowly, under the crushing pressure, the boys broke down. After 14, 15, 16 hours without sleep, without food, without protection, the boys gave confessions. But these were not real confessions. They were scripted, contradictory. Each boy's story conflicted with the others. But it didn't matter. The police had what they wanted, statements on tape. The media exploded. Newspapers ran headlines calling them a wolf pack. Politicians demanded harsh punishment. Even Donald Trump, then a wealthy real estate mogul, took out full-page ads in the city's newspapers calling for the death penalty. The boys were demonized. Their faces splashed across front pages. Their names associated with a crime they did not commit. The public was furious. And in that fury, justice vanished. The trial began in 1990. The prosecution leaned heavily on the confessions. Even though DNA evidence from the crime scene did not match any of the boys. Even though no physical evidence tied them to the attack. The defense pointed out the contradictions. The inconsistencies. The impossibility that these boys, who didn't even know each other well, could coordinate such a crime. But the jury was swayed by the confessions. By the media pressure. By the outrage that filled the city. And one by one, the boys were convicted. Antron, Kevin, Yusef, Raymond, Corey, sentenced to years behind bars. Teenagers, condemned before their lives had even begun. Prison was brutal. Antron McCrae served nearly 7 years. Kevin Richardson, about 7 years. Yusef Salaam, nearly 7 years. Raymond Santana, 5 years. And Corey Wise, the oldest, sent to adult prison, served 13 years. They endured violence, isolation, humiliation. They grew up behind bars. Their families were torn apart. Their childhood stolen. Their names ruined. But through it all, each of them held on to the same truth: we are innocent. Then, in 2002, everything changed. A man named Matias Reyes, already serving time for murder and rape, confessed. He said he, and he alone, had attacked Tricia Mailey that night. At first, many doubted him. But then, the DNA was tested again. And it matched. Not Antron. Not Kevin. Not Yusef. Not Raymond. Not Corey. The DNA matched Reyes. The boys had been telling the truth all along. In December 2002, the convictions of the Central Park Five were vacated. After years of suffering, the courts finally admitted what had been clear from the beginning. They were innocent. The news made headlines around the world. The boys, now men, walked free with their names cleared. But freedom did not erase the scars. They had lost years. They had lost innocence. They had been branded as criminals in front of millions. And no ruling could give back the time they had lost. In 2014, the city of New York settled a lawsuit with the 5 men. They were awarded $41 million. It was compensation. But not justice. Because justice would have been never going to prison at all. Justice would have been a system that listened. A system that cared about the truth. A system that did not throw 5 children into cages to satisfy the public's rage. Today, the Central Park 5 are known as the Exonerated 5. They have become advocates. Voices against wrongful convictions. Symbols of resilience. Their story is told in documentaries, books, and the award-winning Netflix series When They See Us. A story that forces America to confront uncomfortable truths about race, policing, and justice. Their story is not just about the past. It is about the present. It is about the future. It asks us hard questions. How many others are still behind bars, innocent and forgotten? How many confessions were forced? How many lives were stolen by a system more concerned with appearances than truth? The Exonerated 5 lost years they can never reclaim. But they gained something else. A platform. A voice. A legacy. And when they speak, the world listens. Because their story reminds us that justice is fragile. That freedom is not guaranteed. And that truth must always come before vengeance. This is the story of the Central Park 5. 5 boys turned into men behind bars. 5 names once dragged through mud. Now lifted as symbols of survival. Antron McCrae. Kevin Richardson. Yusef Salam. Raymond Santana. Corey Wise. Innocent. Exonerated. Unbroken.